What's up guys, Paramoto here. Today, I have a quick topic video for you. When is it time to quit riding? When is it time to quit riding for you? When is it time to quit riding for me? When is it time to finally hang up your helmet? Today, we're gonna talk about it. Alright. Oh look, I'm off-roading for the first time. So guys, I'm out here in the GTA Wasteland trailer hood of Bud, North Carolina. Out here to talk to you guys today about why I quit riding motorcycles after about 10 years. Why it might be right for you, why it was right for me at the time, and you know, honestly, maybe how to avoid becoming like me. I will say first and foremost, I am no role model whatsoever, but I want to tell my story about why I quit riding motorcycles after almost 10 years. I started riding motorcycles May of 2013. It was a glorious month. I took my MSF course and then immediately went to the dealership and spent $4,000 on a brand new Ninja 300. It was a beautiful motorcycle. It was black, and eventually I would black out every single thing on that bike that I possibly, including the windscreen, which was stupid. So, you know, more reasons why I'm not a role model, because I do stupid things. I loved riding. Riding was my passion. Riding is my passion now, but it was definitely my passion then. It was probably the only cool thing that I did. Oh, gravel, god damn. So it was probably the only cool thing I did was ride motorcycles at the time. My overriding goal when I had that Ninja 300 was to put 10,000 miles on it as quickly as I possibly could. Bought the bike in May, had to put it away end of November, December, when salt started to go on the road. By the time I bought the bike in May, rode through the season, put it up for months, probably 4 months. March came around, I started riding again. I had 11,000 miles on that thing. So 11,000 miles on that thing in 10 months. I loved it. I loved that bike so much, and I loved riding so much. I took that thing everywhere. Had road trips from Cleveland, Ohio to Washington, D.C., Cleveland, Ohio to New York City. Everywhere. I just rode everywhere. And what I did was I followed what I thought the logical progression was. Is, you know, beginner bike, beginner sport bike, and then like real sport bike. So I went 300, 600 times two different CBRs, and then eventually 1,000. And some things that I did not take into account, which led to me quitting motorcycles, is what purpose did I want a motorcycle to serve? I was never like the fast tucked in rider. I was never the street Rossi. I was never carving. I just enjoyed the ride. So why did I need to keep on going on sport bike? Just because they look cool? Pretty much. That's the only reason why I have it. I mean, that's the only reason I can think of, is because they look cool, and all my favorite people rode sport bikes, so I wanted to ride sport bikes. End of the day, sport bikes really weren't for me. That's not the kind of riding that I wanted to do. I say that to tell you that that led me to eventually quitting, not listening to myself, and not being, you know, conscious enough about my desires and needs on motorcycles to know what kind of motorcycle I should have gotten. I should have never gotten a sport bike that was over 600 cc's. I should have never done that because it didn't meet what I wanted. You know, I wanted to take road trips. It's not very road trip friendly to be essentially laying on your wrist for 12 hours a day. Like, that's just not how you have fun. Bye-bye! That's just not how you have fun. And, you know, every single time I took a long trip on a bike, because I always wanted to take long trips and I would force myself out there, every time I'd be like, man, this sucks. Maybe motorcycles aren't for me, because they were uncomfortable. And there was times on my super bike where I took my super bike down to like Charlotte, from Cleveland to Charlotte, which is about 600 or so miles, straight down 77 for forever. And honestly, like, I wasn't having fun anymore. I was uncomfortable. I wasn't listening to myself. I wasn't listening to my body, and I wasn't the rider that I wanted to be. What I should have realized is that I really enjoyed riding when I was on a standard bike. That Ninja 300 was a standard bike with fairings, not unlike like a Ninja 650. You know, that's pretty much what that's a small version of a Ninja 650 pretty much. But what's the saying? Like, I just kept on trying to smash a freaking square peg through a round hole by just constantly trying to make road trips on a super bike work. And I was uncomfortable, and it was like slowly eating at the back of my mind that I didn't want to do this anymore. And I would substitute buying new bikes for addressing the real problem. Oh man, I let the haters get to me. I went from a Ninja 300 to CBR 600, wrecked it, got another CBR 600. My love of motorcycling was waning, and then I got my Panigale 959, loved bikes again for a little bit, and then slowly started waning again. And I was just like, man, maybe this isn't for me. I'm making hundreds of YouTube videos. I'm still in the back of my mind, I'm going, man, maybe motorcycles aren't for me. Maybe this isn't something I want to do. It really just comes down to I wasn't listening to myself, and I wasn't mature enough to know what I actually needed or wanted out of a bike. So don't be like me. What do you want to do? You want a road trip? Don't be on super bikes, or have a road trip bike and then have an extra bike that's a super bike, you know? The next thing that I want to take into account is the risk versus benefit of riding a motorcycle. Everything in life is a risk versus benefit. Am I getting more enjoyment than what I'm concerned the risk is? You know, that's really what it comes down to. Like, I love riding this bike, and I know that this car right here could veer off to their left and smash me and kill me. But I'm having so much fun talking to you guys, making videos, coming out here, having fun on this motorcycle that is worth the risk to me. And eventually, I wasn't having enough fun to offset the risk. And that happens to a lot of people. And sometimes it's their own accord, sometimes it's their family nagging them, hey, I really wish you would stop riding the motorcycle. You know, your family really wants you to hang around. Those things are dangerous as shit. And you just get nagged, and then it's like it becomes less fun because you're getting nagged. If you're like me, the close calls start adding up. Now I was on the Panigale, I would ride it a lot like I'd ride this bike, you know, fast into the speed limit or maybe 10 over, and then I would be conservative again, and then fast on the acceleration, then conservative again, because I'm not really looking to go to jail over my motorcycle riding. I would still get close calls every single day. Every single day I was almost getting ran over, and I don't know if that's because people just didn't see that bike, didn't hear that bike, or whatever. I was getting close calls every single freaking day, and it got old. It got real old. It got real old, almost dying every single ride. And my risk versus benefit just completely changed. You know, what also can happen with your risk versus benefit is you can get in a wreck. You know, once you wreck, like, the genie's out of the bottle. You know, there's definitely a decline of enjoyment once you hit the pavement. It's kind of like a little kid that finds out Santa Claus isn't real. Like, oh man, this thing can actually bite me and I can actually get really hurt. Once you wreck, things change considerably. They did for me, at least. I've wrecked twice. They're always in the back of my mind when I ride. It has been a big thing in the risk versus benefit for me. It'll override the fun that you're having, and maybe it's time to hang it up then. You know, if it's not as fun as it should be. This isn't supposed to be a stressful thing, riding a motorcycle, and when it becomes more stress than it's worth, you know, there's nothing wrong with hanging it up, because you want to be 100% you on your motorcycle. You don't want to be half in, half out on this. You know, you want to be all in when you ride. For me, after 10 years, 9 years of riding, there was a lot of things that added up. There was a lot of things that added up for me quitting riding for a year. One, the 2 wrecks that I had and almost dying both times. That was a big thing. 2, the uncomfortable nature of the bikes I was riding, because I wasn't listening to myself and my own needs. I was riding a Panigale. The bike itself isn't any more uncomfortable than any other bike in this category. I'm not dogging on the Panigale or Ducati or anything like that. I live in Bonn, which is, like I said, trailer hood nowhere, and it takes me 20 minutes to get almost anywhere around here. And by the time I got to the road that leads to somewhere, I would be shaking out my hands because my hands would be completely asleep because I was like laying on them for 20 minutes straight. And then, like, there's other things to consider as well. Like, the close calls started adding up. The uncomfortable nature of the bikes was really adding up. I mean, there was just so many little things that kept on adding up. I also got sick for a little while there, and I wasn't in physical shape to ride anymore. And this was very taxing and very tiring to me. And when it's very tiring to ride, it doesn't encourage you to go ride. Like, am I going to do this thing that wears me out? Am I going to do this thing that I generally just don't want to do? Because if you're tired and you're also kind of like mentally ill because you have all this PTSD from wrecks and your bike isn't comfortable, it all just kind of adds up. I say all this to say to you, that, you know, don't listen to the haters. Make the decision that's right for you. For me, it was right to take a break. Sometimes it's just right to take a break from motorcycles, sell what you have, pocket some money, save up a little bit more money, and get something new and cool, you know? Get something that fits your needs a little bit better. If you're, you know, aging like I am, I'm closer to 40 than I am to 30, it might be time to get something upright. Get something that's a little bit more your speed. Get something that's going to actually encourage you to ride. That's a big thing, encourage you to ride. This bike encourages me to ride. It's fun, it's small, and it's nimble, and it just meets all the criteria. Like, I could sit on this bike all day long because I'm upright, I'm not laying on my wrist. I'm not a Harley rider way back up here. I don't understand how that's comfortable. These Harley riders are like, oh yeah, yeah, Harley bro. Like, I don't want to be out there like that. These guys ride these Harleys. I don't know how they feel exposed. It looks like they're at their gynecologist's office with the way they sit on those damn bikes. They're just like spread wide open. Far be it to me to assume that the bearded land pirate is a guy or a girl, but you guys look like you're in a freaking gynecologist's office. Eventually, you just gotta listen to yourself, you know? I had to listen to myself, and I had to figure out what was right for me. What was right for me is a brake, and then a complete new motorcycle, a completely new kind of motorcycle, a completely new kind of riding, and I'm back at it. This is my 10th year of riding. This is my decade mark right here. May 2013. If I would have stayed riding, May 2023 would have been it, but we took a break, we went on pause, world revolved one more full time, I got a new bike, and it's been great. Another year of riding is gonna come up, another season, and I'm super looking forward to it, because I listened to myself, because I took the break when needed, because I did what I wanted to do, as far as, you know, getting something new, getting something that meets my desires now. I got a bike that I can enjoy for another season, and I'm looking forward to road trips. I'm looking forward to doing all sorts of things with this bike. This is like my primary means of conveyance right now, and I couldn't be happier with it. MT-07 is a sick platform. I love this thing so much. I almost want to see what the 9 is like. 70 horsepower is plenty. 70 horsepower on a platform that weighs less than 400 pounds is plenty. And it just sounds so good. Down low, it sounds so good. Like, it's down low, it's 10 out of 10. And then like mid-range right here, real good. And then when you get up right there, about like 7 grand, it starts sounding like that parallel twin, and it starts like winding out kind of. I love this bike. I need to take better care of it. I need to wash it. Like I say every time I ride, I say I need to wash it. Hey, we're at 1,500 miles already. Every time I ride this thing, I'm just like, oh, I need to wash it, and then I never do, because I'm that guy. I am that guy 100%. But I'm looking forward to the season, and I'm so happy to be happy riding again. Want to do some road trips, want to do some more vlogs. I'm loving how YouTube is like successful again. Like, my YouTube channel is more successful than it's ever been because of this bike, and I couldn't be happier. Let's see if these people are gonna let me in. Thank you. I'm supposed to show a card there, but they know me. The older I get, the more I just enjoy the ride. And I just wanted to tell you guys, I'm not going to share my opinion on what bike you should get, if it's right or wrong for you to start riding, right or wrong for you to quit riding. Just listen to yourself and do what makes you happy. That's really where I'm at as far as a motorcyclist. I want people to do what makes them happy. You know, back in the day, people used to ask me all the time, hey, Paramoto, what bike would you suggest I get for a brand new rider? Or what bike would you suggest I get for this or that? Honestly, nobody can answer that question for you. Just get what makes you happy. Do what makes you happy. If riding is right for you, go ride. If not riding is right for you, don't force it. Just know that eventually, like everything, things might become too much. You might get sick of it, things might get old, and it's never wrong to take a break. This is a high-risk activity. Sometimes you need to just like take a break from being hyper vigilant, you know? Like, you're out here riding, you gotta pay attention to every little thing. If a squirrel is farting in a bush, you gotta be paying attention to that, because that thing might run out in front of you, and then you might have to swerve. Never wrong to do what I did, but I'm glad to be back. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is an old school vlog. This is kind of just shooting from the hip moment. We'll be back to the better prepared Paramoto this week coming up. I have a day and a half to shoot, edit, and upload this, so I don't have all the time in the world this week because I've worked like a million hours. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Deuces. Boo, boo.